All right, welcome everybody to the first episode, the inaugural episode of Pass Focus.
Yes.
Yeah, how do you like that name?
I listened to that name and I was like, it just feels right. It's a Riftbound term that's not used anywhere else. And it feels like a good name.
Right, we're not Pass Priority. It's not Magic here.
No.
It's Pass Focus.
Exactly.
It's different.
It's very different.
But yeah, I was like, and we also joked early on because I'm not Dutch. You are Dutch.
Yeah.
But the word pas, I was like, I just say it in a Dutch accent, so it's like pas. Anyways,
Yeah, it was like a meme between us on when we were playing a board game, and it was just funny. In my
yeah.
opinion.
But yes, welcome everybody to Pass Focus. I need to think of a good intro, but for now, the
For now,
not
we'll
quite,
pass the focus.
not quite infinite podcast going to be focusing on infinite problems today.
Yes, that's true.
But before we jump into that, if you are listening and you're wondering who the heck we are, the person you're hearing or seeing right now, I'm Sean, otherwise known as Gyro Sean. And then the person to my left.
Hi, I'm Reels. I love deck building. I've been playing Magic for way too long, since Constant the Cure. For those who are tracking, that's 2012, if I believe correct. So that's 14 years ago. And I would promise myself to only play one TCG, and here we are, playing a second.
I am in the same boat. I got into Pokemon TCG. I played as a kid other TCGs, but like the way kids play it, like Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
And not correctly. But then I got into Pokemon back in 2019, and I was like, this is it. I'm just going to play Pokemon. And then slowly 2020 rolls around, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll try my hand at Digimon. I did that for a few years. And then I had some friends that were like into Commander. And for years, I was like, Magic? I just don't vibe with the art. It seems really complicated. And now I look over to my left and see like 30 Commander decks. And so, yeah, I think it's impossible not to get into more than one card game.
You know, one hobby, 14 years, we'll take that. Magic is the grandfather of all card games, or most card games at least.
Yeah. So, and you are somebody who has come from Magic at I'm gonna butter you up a little bit, a very high level. I think you played competitive, modern and standard quite a bit.
Yeah, I've played into the Spotlight series, which is basically the RCQs, and I topped 16s.
Yep.
So pretty good.
So you have more. I have one top 16 in Digimon, but that's not quite the same as a top 16 in Magic, if I'm honest.
It's true. There's 2,000 people just like on any RCQs from Riftbound. So there's a lot of people competition, and how many people were in your tournament?
Yeah. Well, Digimon, this was an online event.
Okay, so it might be a lot.
Webcam. There was like, I think 600 people for that
Still
one.
good. Still good.
But that was set number 1. I top 16 during a first set, and apparently that's what I'm best at any card game is first sets.
That's good.
So, but yeah, we are here to talk today about a few things in Riftbound, as I sort of mentioned earlier. We're going to talk about infinites because, well, you and I started making some Riftbound content a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And it was all focused around infinite combos. Give us what kind of infinites were we playing with?
Okay, so I was looking in the podcast, and obviously everyone was looking at the podcast of Deluxe Infinite, and I was first like, there has to be a different legend you can use that is better. Well, maybe not better, but different. So I started playing with LeBlanc, because LeBlanc is very notorious for Carter's shell with Death Knells and copying any card that draws a card and doing it twice, or channels a rune and doing it twice, accelerates your game plan by miles. Playing three Carduses and just killing one of your Death Knells that draws a card makes you draw 4 cards. So that's why to turn through your deck very fast. I made a mock-up of the deck. I tested it. Went to an Access Night. Tested it there. Went pretty well. And then I decided, Sean, we need to make a video of this.
So yeah, we took the Lux shell and we said we think this could work in LeBlanc. We made a video. We made lots of mistakes in that video.
I had 13 runes.
But I have the memory of a goldfish, so I choose not to remember that. And then from there, I think it was you that said, I think I can do something similar in red-blue with Jin.
Yeah.
And because we hadn't seen anyone doing, at the time, we hadn't seen anybody doing infinites in red and blue. So we sort of opened up a Google Sheets and figured out how to make it work in red and blue with Jin, and then eventually with any red and blue legend.
Yep.
And then after that, you sort of took it upon yourself, like, hey, let's also I'm gonna explore this with Ornn real quick. Let's explore the 10 card combo that exists with Ornn.
I originally wanted to do it with just blue, but that one was a little too complicated.
Yeah.
That one was basically impossible. The problem usually right now for combos is you need to wait to recycle, and you need to wait to ready units or kill units. Right now, Mauser is the best way to kill Echo, so readying units is also pretty hard. But once those are solved in blue or a different color.
Yeah, like so we found the places where we're only 3 sets in, and there's we're 2 effects away, 2 consistent effects away, because technically you can recycle cards in blue.
Yeah, it's
just not great.
It's not pretty.
But you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But really, that leaves you with 1 effect in blue that's stopping mono blue infinite.
It's true.
And we're only 3 sets in, so that's what we wanted to focus on for the big part of the podcast today, which is there's been a lot of, I think, community pushback or maybe fear around infinites in Riftbound. Should they exist, and to what degree should they exist? Should Riot jump in and start banning cards to keep the game maybe a specific way? And I wanted to open it up. So yeah, you come from the world of Magic.
Yes, there's lots of infinites over here.
Yeah, lots of infinites. I play Commander too, but in Standard and Modern, is Magic as a reference point? How many infinites are usually competitively viable in Magic within those more limited formats?
So currently in Standard, I saw 1 infinite combo that is very good, and I think there's possibly 3 or 4 combos that are possible in Standard are not good, but they're possible. They're very non-competitive because they take too long to set up. You kill 1 unit and the combo is over. And usually combos in Magic require units on the fields or an artifact or something else that you can kill in response, or just exile the graveyard.
Yeah, there's a lot more interaction in Magic because, I mean, look, Magic has been around for 30 years.
Yes.
From a game design perspective, they've been around forever, so the game designers know how their game is meant to feel. And then B, they have more than 3 sets. We only have 3 sets right now. So
true.
Having infinites this early on when there's all these color combination limitations too can feel a little unfair, maybe.
Yeah, and I think what Magic does right, and Riftbound clearly does right as well, is every card in Magic, all the kill spells have reaction, so you can kill something in their turn, where in Riftbound you can only bounce something.
Yeah.
At the most.
Yeah, or if you can kill things, it's usually at battlefield specifically.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I think Riftbound probably is the most similar gameplay and design-wise to Magic.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, which is why I wanted to have it as a good comparison. Because right now, for those listening that don't know, there are a wide range of infinites that already exist in Riftbound. The first one that I think people maybe discovered was something called Dragonstorm.
Yeah.
Which basically utilizes, is it Gemstone Dragon?
It was a very convoluted combo. Basically, what you do is you play a lot of dragons with Gemstone Dragon, and you have them reduced by another dragon. I don't know the name, but it's 4 energy, and it reduces all dragons by 2, with minimum of 1.
And then you ready your runes when you
so
play
you play
dragons.
one energy dragon, you ready 2 runes, and if you have 2 dragons, you then ready 4 runes. Then you play a card for 2 energy and a power that draws cards equal to the mighty units you have, which you have a lot. And then you use a dancing grenade to kill your own units, to put them back in the graveyard. You use Fi to recycle them, and you use you have a lot of energy, and you use 1 card that turns your energy into power, and then you recycle that a bunch.
So the way that deck wins is, it's not just that you're making infinite resource, which you are, but the way that the ultimate win condition is you're going to burn your opponent out.
Yeah, there's a
Blind Fury.
It was a 4 energy card, Blind Fury. You basically look at your opponent's top deck, and you may play that. And if you do that 1,000 times, they no longer have a deck, and then they will shuffle their deck, draw cards, you get a point. You
Yeah.
get another time, and then they'll burn out every turn.
Well, the nice thing is, actually, I looked at the rules for burnout, and you burn out the first time. If you have cards in your trash, you shuffle it back in, and then your opponent gets a point. But if you have no cards in your trash,
Yeah.
you lose instantly.
Oh wow, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Because the only way that burnout works is you have to be able to shuffle something back.
That's good.
But once you have no more cards to shuffle back, you do lose the game instantly.
Wow.
So that's the way that the Blind Fury combo works. And then from there, we obviously had more combos come out. And most of the other combos that came out primarily revolve around Echo.
Yeah.
So those are about generating infinite energy, infinite power through some combination of playing, killing Echo, and you go from there to winning the game with the Renata card that you tap to get a point. And you just sort of loop that over and over all in one turn. But with the upcoming set of Vendetta, there are even more combos. There's one especially that people are maybe worried or excited about. I don't know. In purple yellow.
Yeah.
That basically says there's a Eye of the Herald, I believe, that you equip it to something. There's another card that when you move another unit, move me. And then when you move with it, it makes a ready.
Yeah. So basically how the combo works is you have a unit that says when a unit here moves somewhere, you can maybe move with it. If you equip a Renata, if you have a Renata, she says when tokens enter ready. So what you'll do is you equip an Eye of the Herald, which says when this unit moves, you create a one might recruits, and that will be ready because of Renata. You'll move that recruit. You move that recruit ready. So you move to a battlefield with the 4 might units that can move with other recruits. Then you create a ready recruit to battlefields. That ready recruit can move back, and then you create another ready recruits, and that way you can go back and forth to battlefield and back to create infinite might recruits.
Yeah, you just pooping out a bunch of tokens,
Yes.
right? Like you get infinite tokens, and you can theoretically, if both battlefields are available for you to conquer, you could theoretically put those infinite tokens at all 3 locations.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild. But obviously that one lacks the ability to just win instantly.
Yes, and I think the most key feature of that combo is you have to use a 4 might unit, put an action speed on showdown, and your opponent can react to that.
Yes. Because it requires you going to a battlefield.
Yes.
Now, if you already control that battlefield, it's a little easier.
It is a lot easier.
Because then, you're just like, well, there's no action speed window now.
But if they have 2 or 3 pieces on play, because they need the purple unit needs to be ready,
Yeah.
you gotta kill it.
Yeah, I mean, it does create more windows to stop the little loop. Like basically, if you get rid of the very first token unit it creates when it moves, the loop ends.
Yes.
It's actually quite simple to get rid of.
Sure.
But given that we are now 3 or 4 sets in, I mentioned that people are a little wary of infinites in Riftbound, and I don't know. I get where they're coming from. It does, like, Magic did have, it wasn't an infinite, but it was a very early combo with Channel and Fireball.
Yes.
Where for effectively 3 mana and 2 cards, you could just win the game.
Yeah.
And that was pretty early in Magic's history, and then it led to a pretty quick ban.
Yeah. I can give you some context what the cards do. Channel is a card that for 2 green mana, you can make any amount of energy, but it will cost life. In Magic, you will start with 20 life, and your opponent does 2. So if you have more life than your opponent, you can give 19 mana and then use the card Fireball, which is an X spell. You can spend all 19 mana and a red mana and deal 19 to your opponent. So if you have more energy to spare, you can even do 20, the full 20, and that will just kill your opponent.
Yeah, it's just a 2 card, like, I'm going to kill my opponent. And so Magic responded to that by banning a card.
Yep.
So you could maybe interpret that as like, well, initially maybe Magic didn't want there to be infinites. But I see that maybe closer to the point we are now, which is it was too easy. And when you only have a couple of sets for people to play with, the ability for people to respond to combos like that is very limited.
Yeah.
And I think that we are in the same spot with Riftbound.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, should Riftbound be a game where infinites of any kind should exist.
I think if they are interactable with, I think it's fine. I think the big difference between Magic combos and Riftbound combos currently is how do we react to it. Well, what's the goal of the most of combos? It's just getting your deck empty. How do we interact with that? Not really. There's not a good way to interact with it. Once they draw their whole deck and they do their thing, you can have a few counter spells. Sometimes that doesn't even work, and from there it's just game. Like the best way to interact with things like this is just like a card that banishes all cards from the trash forever. Like a Rest in Peace does that in Magic, or other ways like being able to kill the Echo or bounce it in before it dies, which is not possible currently with the sacrifice. Things like that.
Yeah. So like having the right sort of interaction options. Yeah, I think that's probably the big feels bad right now with infinites, because I would agree with you. I think Riftbound is okay to have infinites if they are convoluted enough that you can see them coming, one. Because I think that's playing Commander, the worst feeling, and that's a very different format, but playing Commander, the worst feeling is when your opponent goes from nothing on board to having an infinite and you didn't see it coming because it's only 2 cards maybe, right? But in Riftbound, right now, I can't foresee a way that they would design a 2-card infinite where you need nothing else on board at the start of the turn. And so the biggest problem that we have right now is the limited interaction we have when you do see it coming, because Echo is a problem.
Yes.
We've talked about this. And like the way that Echo works, they've created a couple of cards like Sacrifice and Malzahar that you cannot respond to Echo being killed.
Yeah.
Like Malzahar, because it generates resources, the actual rules text says that once you tap Malzahar, you cannot respond to that.
Yeah.
And Sacrifice, you can respond, you can defy the sacrifice, but Echo is a cost, not a part of the resolution. So Echo will always die.
It's true.
And so, I think in some ways, Echo, if you really don't like the way that it is right now, Echo is the thing to ban.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Riftbound is a game that should move away from infinites so long as they are convoluted enough.
I think Echo right now is a problem in the vacuum for design space. I don't think he's a fun mechanic to have in the game, deciding games out of nowhere. I do think he can be healthy in the game currently, but I think as more cards come out, he will be a problem at some point.
Yeah. I think the other problem that people maybe like Magic compared to Riftbound, in Magic, it is very possible to go from doing nothing all game to winning in one turn.
That's true.
Whether that's Channel Fireball or there's cards like Thassa's Oracle and Demonic Consultation, which is a 2-card combo, again, that costs 3 mana. And if you play them in the right order, one of the cards literally says, if you meet this condition, you win the game. The other card makes it so that you meet that condition.
But I think the big difference right now in these Eternal formats or Commander formats is you also have free interaction, which you don't have in... Well, you almost don't have in Riftbound. There's a card that costs 8 energy and then power that can kill... do 5 damage to your battlefields, and it costs less to equal to your highest might, so you can be doing it for power. And in Magic, there's like a Force of Negation, Force of Will, and those cards are just picture a blue card from your hands, and you'll counter a spell. And spell and Magic can also be creatures or
that's
units.
the thing too, right? Is like the kinds of things you can interact with in Magic are much wider.
Yeah,
but I
think with great power needs to be having great interaction.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the interaction is just a little too limited, where I could see Riftbound and Riot stepping in now to ban something like Echo.
Yeah.
I also think, though, with Magic, because you can go from not caring about the game state to winning in a single turn, most of Riftbound right now, like the way that it is designed, is that you get 2 points a turn.
Yeah.
And there are some ways that, like, there are some other cards that will say, oh, if you hold here, you gain an extra point, or when you conquer with this, you gain a point. But outside of Renata, there's no way to get all 8 points in one turn.
Riftbound is a very linear progression game, meaning once you're on 2 points, there can be just 3 turns and you can lose.
Yeah.
And I think that is very healthy. You obviously there's more ways to get more points in the turn, but generally speaking, Riftbound is played on battlefields, fighting for those battlefields, and then trying to win in a linear progression. Every turn, you would try to get to an even points, going from turn 1 to 1 point, then trying to get to 2 points, then to 4, then to 6, and then finishing the game.
Yeah. And look, you can theoretically win in quote unquote one turn with time warp.
Yeah.
If you get 2 battlefields and play 3 time warps in a row
Sure.
to go to 8, like it's technically 4 turns, but like if your opponent has no interaction, it might as well just be 1 turn.
Or you can just play cutter battles and win that
Right.
way. But that
Or
needs
that.
to be at a battlefield. They designed
Right.
this instant win combo to be at a battlefield. They clearly want you to care about those battlefields. That's the whole design of Riftbound. If
Yeah.
someone no longer cares about the battlefields, the game is kind of broken.
Yeah. Okay. That's a very good point then. For you, where infinites in Riftbound probably should stay is as long as it requires you to hold battlefields or have battlefields. Because that is the fundamental thing that makes Riftbound
Yes.
is the battlefield.
Yeah. If you can somehow win without ever using a battlefield, I think it is quote unquote broken. And currently, you don't win by not having a battlefield. You win by creating infinite resources, then creating infinite might, which is basically the same.
Yeah.
Because then you create infinite points as well.
Yeah. I mean, thinking about infinites too, I was doing some thinking. I think there's 3 different kinds of infinites that theoretically can exist in any game. The first one, which is the purple-yellow infinite. Actually, no, the first one, which I don't think this infinite actually exists in the game right now, but it's what I would call dead-end infinites. Magic has a lot of these where you can like get infinite resources by tapping and untapping your lands infinitely. But then your opponent looks at you and goes, okay, now what? Right? Like, okay, you have all the mana in the world and nothing to spend it on. Those, I don't know if anything like that exists in Riftbound right now because all of the infinite resource loops require you to also have all of the cards in your
Well, technically
deck.
speaking, the echo loop can without retreat and without another way to get power. That's just infinite energy.
Yeah. I guess you could theoretically loop. I mean, but you have to have an empty deck, right?
Yeah,
So you would also have to have drawn your whole deck.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
Why I'm
yeah,
saying
this-
like it's not gonna. It is possible to create this state where you can't do a lot. I don't know how he got to this state, but it's possible.
The other one, though, moving a step down, is the I will win eventually infinite, which is the purple-yellow one.
Yep.
If you're making infinite soldiers at every battlefield and at your base, you don't actually win. You get 2 points for conquering or holding that turn, but then your opponent will have more turns, 1, 2, 3 turns usually, to figure out if there's a way to deal with it. Maybe it's something like a Ruination. Maybe it's Downwell. Maybe it's cards that have not been released yet that kill all things with the same name. Magic has lots of that. But it at least opens up opportunity for your opponent to say, okay, you presented me with a really difficult problem. Do I have the answers?
Yeah, and I think what's funny is we have a lot of like I don't know the same cards, like a lot of 2 Dianas, for instance. Can you imagine just killing all target units with the same name of let's say Diana units? Could be
Yeah.
interesting design space anyway.
Well, it would also be a really, it would be interesting. I don't know if that would get around Ruin Runner. Because if you
Yeah.
say destroy all creatures of the same name, you're not really targeting
That's
any
true.
individual. So that would be another way to get around things like multiple Ruin Runners.
That's true.
So
Damn you, Rune Runners! I hate
I
the
mean,
card.
I think Ruin Runners, I think it's a healthy thing for the game.
I think if he
it's very
costed
fair.
power, you would have felt a little bit more fair. Right now, he's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But because he's a 6/5, but he's a little. He attacks people on an axis that people don't expect.
But I think the type of combo that people really don't like are the I'm going to go infinite and I'm going to win this turn. And that ends up typically, I think, breaking people's expectation of the game, which is that they're going to have 3 or 4 turns.
I think the problem with that is I can't interact with it.
Yeah.
And if they can't interact with it, it's just a non-game. Like, we're not playing Riftbound anymore. We're playing, can I stop you from comboing?
Yeah.
And in this, right now, you just, can I stop you from comboing with no answers?
Yeah. And that, I think, is the thing that really sucks. And So ultimately, I think that Infinite should be a part of the game. If I were on the design team, I would probably start by banning things like Echo.
Yep.
Or if you're not going to ban something like Echo, you need to print answers in every color.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's also, I think, the limiting factor is in Magic, over time at least, there has kind of been answers to every potential combo in every color.
I think
mostly.
the most notorious thing in Magic is that there's colors cards, which can be played in all decks.
Yeah.
A lot of answers are being printed in those colors.
Yeah.
Like a Relic of Progenitus and Thomas Grip. Those cards you can use as reaction speed to banish someone's trash. To
Yeah.
put it in Riftbound terms.
Yeah. I mean, Pithing Needle is a really good example of like sometimes your opponent will have a combo. There is a card that exists that if you play it, you name a card, and your opponent can't play cards of that name.
Well, they can't use abilities.
Or abilities,
of that name.
yeah.
So let's say we put it on Malzar can no longer tap.
Right. But what makes Pithing Needle really good in Magic is if a combo exists in Magic, there's a card that is colorless.
Yeah.
Any deck can play it. And I think given Riftbound's color identity system, I think that is a very that's also, I think, a limiting factor of why people don't want infinites in Riftbound is all of a sudden, if the only answers to competitive infinites are found in 2 colors, then every single counter deck will have to be in one of those colors.
It just makes the diversity worse.
Yes. And that's what we've seen in Riftbound is like the whole best of system, I think is a great mechanic. And we'll talk about that maybe on a future episode of like, I think it's a great system for increasing diversity at high level tournaments, which other games don't really have. Like, there's no benefit in Magic if you decide like if Izzet is the best combination, red blue, and you're like, but I really want to play Selesnya, green and white. Well, sorry, your deck's trash. Don't play it. Like, there's no benefit to playing a worse thing.
I think the best thing we can do right now is if a combo exists and you can win instantly, you have to be able to interact with it by going to a battlefield and killing that unit at that time. So, example, if you are in orange and someone goes to a battlefield, you're at the other battlefield, you have 2 energy open, you can play a challenge and kill that unit, stop the combo.
Yep.
Or you have purple, you can play Gust or Stars, this thing that bounces 2 units.
Starcrossed, yeah.
Starcrossed, thank you. Any color, or you can be like green and you charm that unit before it goes into that battlefield and you kill it. Something you can see
Charm
coming.
is not reaction speed, and I'm glad it's not. Charm is a crazy card, but they need to print. I think that's for me. That's also the challenge. Is like challenge, not to pun not intended. Is like not every color has answers at reaction speed.
Yeah, but we can create action win. If we have a combo that creates action windows, I think we're quote unquote good.
Yeah. And I think that's also the thing that people don't like about the Lux and the red-blue combos is that until you're ready to win the game, you don't have to ever create an action window.
No.
Because you're just sitting in your base, pardon the pun, you're just sitting in your base playing with yourself. And, like it does create very limited windows. So I think if they were to also, like, in the future, either ban or change their design philosophy, I think it's okay to do infinites, like you said, if it involves allowing 2 different types of speed, action and reaction. Yeah. I mean, that's really those are my main thoughts on infinites. I'm not opposed to them. I think that already the fact that we have this many infinites 3 sets in, I think clearly the game, the both from the designer's perspective, but just the way that all the mechanics work in Riftbound, I just think it's going to be a part of the game forever. But they probably are going to have to figure out answers in every color and like really limiting, the kinds of windows that you give people.
Yep.
So, but moving on from all of this combo stuff, let's learn a little bit more about each other and the decks that we like to play. Because if you've only watched those few videos from us, you might get the impression that we just sit around playing Lux Loop and Ginfinite, and that's not the case. Rills, what are your favorite decks in Riftbound?
So I started off with Teemo. I do have a love for Teemo, but he was a hold deck. Hold decks are terribly bad right now, so I don't love Teemo right now. Then I was playing Victor. Victor was a very mid-range deck or control deck. I was playing the control variant. I generally do like control when it was like I like off-meta decks, so decks that are a little bit off the wall, things strategies you don't expect. That's why Infinite is like kind of my forte in deck building. But I don't always love playing the deck if it's just a linear progression deck that does one thing. I don't like one-trick ponies. I like decks that are attacking you on different axes. So decks where you don't see coming what I'm building. Like what I play. Like imagine playing as Yi. You know exactly what you're expecting from a Yi. Yi is a fair deck that creates a lot of might. So you just have to go over them with mites, or you have to kill units, or you have to stun the units. Where I want to create, if I would create a Yi, a deck that does those things but more.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, Yi is one of those decks where, turn one, it's like, what do you do? Oh, do you have a Mouser or a Scuttle Crab? Turn two, what are we going to do? Well, you might play your champion unit on 4. Turn 3, what are we going to do? Well, you're either saving up for a Rengar or you're playing a Ruin Runner, right? Like, they're so linear that you're just kind of, it's not saying there's no skill expression, but it can be very boring to build and play.
Well, I think not the problem. The problem isn't necessarily is it linear. Is you expect if you go into the battlefield, you expect discipline. Expect Engard. You expect French first, and those are the things you're going to play around. But you don't expect 3 mana standard cards.
No,
You don't expect I don't know a green card that gives +4 mites for 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good cards. But once you add more variables and your opponent doesn't know what you're doing, that's when these off the meta decks start winning.
Yeah.
If you're doing something that they don't expect, and because of that, you win.
Yeah. I mean, Primal Strength is, I think, a pretty fun example of
Yeah.
like in a deck that felt very linear and solved in some ways, all of a sudden one player puts in 1 copy of Primal Strength, and nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition, right? Nobody expects that +7 might swing
Nope.
during a combat. And so, yeah, that's interesting. So you like playing off meta decks?
Yeah.
That is your bag. I think I'm probably very similar. For me, I started out by playing Teemo because I also am going to be honest. I don't know anything about League of Legends. That's the one thing that like I got into the card game because I was at a locals. They had the not starter decks, but the ones they gave to stores, the example decks.
Oh, wow.
So they had like the Yasuo and the Jinx example decks. And the people there were just like, hey, you want to try Riftbound? Like I play One Piece, I play Commander, I play Pokemon there. And you want to play some Riftbound? I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I sat down, I had the Yasuo deck, and I was like, this deck is trash. But, because this was like Origins, like when it first came out, I'm like, it wasn't so great. But I immediately was like, let me look into this. This game was kind of fun. And Teemo was a funny little guy. And I always love a funny little guy deck. And also the hidden mechanic really spoke to me because I know enough about card games where I'm like, this deck may not always be a relevant top tier deck, but they are going to introduce more and more hidden cards over time in these colors. And the more they introduce, the more interesting the deck becomes to me. And so I started out with Teemo. I still have my Teemo deck. I think I'm always going to have a Teemo deck. And then took a few months off, and then Unleashed came out. And I was like, well, I already have all these purple and blue cards. What's a good deck? Oh, Diana. Oh, let me just be an absolute meta slave and just play Diana.
So much for your off-meta builds.
Right. Like I like off-meta too. I just haven't really done it much in Riftbound because I don't really have a ton of cards. But now that we have all this content and podcast stuff, I'm gonna be bringing all of that off-meta nonsense, I think,
nice.
to Riftbound.
Do you know what Teemo is notorious for? Sorry, I do play League of Legends. Do you know what Teemo is notorious for?
Annoying your opponent.
Well, in League of Legends, he's kind of described as the devil. He even has a devil skin.
Okay.
So you basically pick the devil. He's like a mascot, but a really evil mascot for some people.
I like that. I'm a bit of a chaos goblin in all the games that I play. In Overwatch, when I played it very poorly, one of my mains was Junkrat.
Oh wow.
Absolute chaos goblin. And then in Commander, I play one of my favorite decks is Jaleva.
What did she do again?
So
Sorry.
Jaleva, whenever you cast her, you and your opponents all exile the top X cards, where X is the
wow.
amount you spent to cast her.
Oh god.
And if it's your commander, it's +2 every time.
Oh, that's so good.
And then you get to like steal all the instants and sorceries. And when Jaleva attacks, you get to cast them for free. My
That's
whole
crazy.
deck is like, how does this deck win? Well, what's your win condition? Because my win condition is your win condition.
I love that.
So I'm gonna steal your creatures. I'm gonna steal your spells. It's absolute chaos.
I think my favorite commander deck is the Scarab God. It kind of does the same thing your deck does,
Oh,
but
yeah.
out of the graveyard. So
Yeah.
Scarab God can for 4 energy or 4 power, 4 mana. Sorry,
Yeah, 4 mana,
4
basically.
mana. You can choose a creature or unit in the banishment or in the trash, and you can animate it as a 4 unit, and you
That's
get
a
the play
token.
effects. Yeah, that's a token, and you get the play effects. You get the death knell effects. It's crazy, and it stays there forever.
Yeah. So in
And
terms
it's
of
also a reaction speed. So sometimes you can just
yeah.
imagine just creating a
Oh my
watcher
gosh.
for 4 energy. That's instant speed.
Imagine reaction
Or
speed
reaction speed.
LeBlanc.
Ooh.
Oh no. Actually don't imagine that. That sounds actually is mirror image slow speed?
It's slow speed.
Oh good. I feel like one day we will get reaction speed reflection tokens, and that will be crazy.
yeah, that'd be crazy.
So
But they have to be like 6 power or something. I don't know.
it might be that it only can target friendly units too.
Yeah.
But that's also when I bought all my Teemo cards, I really want, and we're gonna hopefully I have to get a setup here, but I want to do like 4-player games as part of the
Ooh.
channel too. I love 4-player games because you don't have to worry so much about the most competitive deck. You can play your favorite off-meta cards, and one of my favorite is Possession.
Oh.
So it's if you don't know, it's 8 energy, and I think
2
3
power.
is it 3 2 purple.
2 power. I'm pretty sure it's 2 power.
And it is action speed, which is what I love most about it.
So-
Is at action speed. So on an opponent's turn, when they move into a battlefield, you can play this card and you just take control of any unit at a battlefield, including your opponents, and you move it to your base.
Yeah.
So even if you're not a part of the combat, like your opponent moves in with their Elder Dragon, you can just be like,
Wow.
I'm a hat at real quick.
It's kind of like the hostile takeover for Renata, but then forever.
Yeah, you just steal it. You're
It's
just like
it's mine
I'm just
now.
gonna take that. So
I actually played a lot of. I played some limited, and I got conscription twice, which is basically that card, but instead of taking a unit, adding unit, you can only take a 3 unit. But if you spend 5 XP, because it's 5 energy and 2 power, you can just take any unit on the battlefield. It's not action speed, but it was really fun to use.
So-
I've played this early and just for tempo, and I'm like, this was crazy.
yeah. And look, we know that in the next set, blue and orange is going to be a popular combo-y color, and everyone's going to start playing Promising Future. But I'm going to tell you, I was playing Promising Future when it was bad in 4-player. That card is awesome. That card slaps.
Actually, my first brew was with Nocturne and Promising Future. Good. I
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to chain Promising Futures, play a bunch of Nocturnes. It wasn't great.
Well, because you're Promising Future and you're revealing the cards. So if you reveal Nocturnes as part of Promising Future, you get to play those too. It's great.
It was- yeah, and then also Blue Teemo with Nocturnes goes great. I don't know why no one was playing it. Turns out the deck was bad. That's why.
But yeah, that's so if you keep listening to the pod, or if you're on the YouTube watching this, expect to see more gameplay with less infinites and more chaos energy probably from us.
Just
Yeah.
just off meta decks and maybe 4-player gameplay.
Yeah. So moving on to the second to last sort of big topic, we also went to the RQ regional in the regional qualifier in Utrecht here, because we both live in the Netherlands. And yeah, we wanted to talk about our experience because we know that signups are going to be coming up, I think the 6th, right? For Barcelona and
Yeah, that's it.
yeah. So there's 3 more RQs that are slated. There's Barcelona, there's Singapore, and then is it LA?
I think so. I don't recall correctly.
There's one in America.
Yeah.
But and we want, if you're listening and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about going to an RQ, what's the experience like? So Rills, what was your RQ experience like?
So day 1, we come there, you pick up your badge. The if I had a premium badge, so it might have been a little bit different than
Oh
yours.
yeah. Mr. Mr. Moneybags over here with their premium badge.
You get your promo, you get your playmat later, and you can enter the venue at a certain point. First day is no main event, so you can just play your scheduled events or side events. Side events are very fun. I decided to play the sealed side events. It's a scheduled side events. It was very fun. You got 1 ticket for joining the events for drafting, and then you get 1 ticket for every win. And usually people will try to get to 40 tickets as soon as they can to get one of those plated legends.
Yeah, so that's if you're going to an RQ, I think there's really 3 reasons to go.
Yeah.
1, you want to compete in the main event because maybe you're going for a best of a specific legend. Maybe you think that, you can actually make top 64, which is like, I don't know you, maybe. So that you could either play in the main event for one of those reasons. The second reason that a lot of people have been going is to grind tickets to get plated legends, which are those metal legend cards that everybody goes crazy over.
Yeah.
They are worth a lot of money.
Currently, most of the plated legends are between 1K and 3K.
Yeah.
Ari is 4K, I think. She's the most expensive.
And Ari also is no longer obtainable.
No.
So
they're doing the first 3 sets, or the 3 sets that are the most recent. So right now it's set 1, set 2, set 3, and playgrounds, or not playground, battlegrounds. So that's 40 legends on top of my head. And right now they're gonna rotate the Origins legends and the Proving Grounds
Yeah.
legends.
So if you are listening and you're going and you want to go to one of the future ones, Origins Legends and Proving Ground Legends will no longer be available for the time being.
Yeah.
Maybe forever. But basically, if there's a legend that you really like and you're thinking of going to an RQ, sooner rather than later is always our advice for getting one of the plates.
And if you somehow don't have enough tickets, you can always buy a plate of legends from someone else there, because they're going to be cheaper there, a lot cheaper.
Yeah, that is a good point. Buying the plated legends at location is always going to be cheaper than waiting.
Yeah.
And then, we don't have to get too deep into the details, but there is usually an underground market for tickets that exists.
But honestly, if you have a friend group that goes there, just pull together your tickets. That's probably the easiest way to. And there's ways to get like that last ticket if you really look around, but we're not going to go over that.
Yeah, well, so you can pull tickets together by doing lots of side events. There are people that have lots of guides out there, probably for like, what's the EV on doing, the 8-person, standard best of 1 side events versus what one would you say is not worth it if you want to grind tickets? Probably the 4-player free for all is not worth doing it for tickets.
I don't even know what tickets you get, but I know
those games take 3 hours. Everyone
was trying to get Ari.
Yeah.
And tickets were going for the going rates and was going like for a lot more than they were at the end.
Yeah.
And what they were doing is they were playing best of 3, and those are winner takes all tickets. So you get 12 tickets for winning all 3, and you only need to do that with 3 more people, and then you have 48 tickets, and then you can buy Plate Legends.
Yeah, so if you have a friend group that maybe you don't want to buy the tickets from them, but if you're like, hey, I really want this plated legend, can we do 3 events together? And you just basically pay for their tickets, for their entry. You agree to pay them back. And if you do it enough, like all of you could theoretically get enough tickets.
That's true.
If you did that 4 times.
Yeah.
That's probably the cheapest way to guarantee yourself some plated legends. But yeah, other than that though, so there's the main event, there's grinding tickets to get plated legends or other merch if you want. But I also think the last reason is you just want to have fun playing a lot of Riftbounds and also meeting. Usually there's like pretty cool creators, a variety of like League of Legends people, cosplayers, etc. that go.
Oh, Runeterra people as well.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of Runeterra people. I think at the Utrecht one there was like Spoozy was there and a few other like creators were there. I'm not always great with the names. People that I don't know were there because they were from League. And
I actually had dinner with some of them. Grappler was there, Nips was there, Sunny was there. A lot of names.
So, if you watch content and you want to say hi to some of the people who make videos or Instagram reels or whatever. RQs are also a really good way to do that.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you should go here for singles, but there are a lot of singles there.
Yeah.
So if you want to create like a few decks, or even just frankly just finishing your one deck, and you're like, oh, I'm missing that misfortune. They'll have that misfortune.
Yeah.
They will have that misfortune.
They're not going to be the best prices. I'm going to straight up tell you the prices at things like RQs, and this is probably true for every regional, for every card game. You're not going to get TCG player lows, but what you will get is immediate gratification.
And you don't have to pay for shipping, which is
which in Europe is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because like card market and shipping in Europe is no joke. That it's expensive. Like if you're buying a lot of cheap cards, it feels really bad to be like, I got €3 worth of cards and I paid €5 in shipping. That's crazy. That feels insane. So
yeah, usually I try to go to power sellers for Magic, or
Yeah.
just one person that sends like 10 cards, and then you only have to pay 1 shipping instead of paying 10 shipping, because that's just 20 euros you're spending on shipping, or more, frankly.
So those are really the 3 reasons to go. I don't know if I went again, which I do want to go again. I'm probably not going to go to Barcelona, just because it'll be in the middle of summer, and that feels this summer especially feels kind of brutal.
Mhm.
But also I'm starting a new job, so I gotta have the money before I spend the money.
Oh, I have a better reason than you do.
Yeah,
I'm expecting a child around
yeah. Rills is having a tiny little baby. Yeah, a daughter. So the future Riftbound regional champion.
True. But I definitely want to go again, and I definitely want to compete in the main event. I just love competing in high stakes tournaments. It's just what I like to do, but I want to do it with a non-traditional deck.
Yes, yeah.
So
and the more cards there are, the easier that becomes, I think. Because I think when we were at the last regional, when you started doing side events, you switched over to Darius.
Yes.
And you had a much better time.
So I started off the regional tournament 1-2, and I was like, I really wanted to play the Legend. I really wanted that play with Victor. So I was like, okay, look, I can play all my rounds out. We'll have to win all of them to make the 2, or I can drop. And my friend over here was also kind enough to drop with me, because you also was 1-2.
I was 1 and 2, and my 2 losses. I started out with a free win because I won a skirmish.
Same.
And my first 2 games were just like brutal, and I was like, this ain't my day.
No,
I'm cooked.
So I switched over to Darius. We played a lot of side events, and I went undefeated until like the last round. So I went 8-1. There were best of ones, but still, Darius just felt unfair, just really unfair. And that deck was also off meta. It was a deck built by a friend, or not friend, a person I saw on X or Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And the basic concept is Darius has a nice ability that gives you a resource, but you have to play different cards. So you play the Red Seal, and then you play an Accelerate unit.
Yeah.
Or on turn 1, then they play their little 2-drop or 3-drop on their base, and then you go to 2 points on their first turn. If you reach greatest, you go to 3 points. And if it's Spike, it has ganking, and then you go to 4 points. And it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I played that deck against that deck. It's off-meta decks, especially if you're planning on playing side events or like even at locals.
Yeah.
I think that's some of the best ways to enjoy and experience games like Riftbound.
It's true.
Is you're not trying to like meta game and win a whole tournament. You're just like, I'm just going to end up playing 3 games. It's going to be a little bit luck of the draw. What do I play against? But when it's something that nobody expects, you usually can steal a game in a best of 3 just because they don't know how to respond to what's in front of them.
And finally, I've played this Darius in best of 3s. It's not like it doesn't work. It's a better deck in isolation in best of 1, but the deck is so great in best of 3 as well, because you just steal their first game and you're like, look, I got 2 games to win.
So last little bit of news here before we wrap the episode. We wanted to talk about a couple of the spoilers. I say spoilers. Some people are saying leaks. It was on an official like League of Legends stream, so leak feels like an incorrect use of the word. Like
there's a leak we can talk about.
Well, sure, but it was published by the company.
That's true.
So there were 2 cards. We'll start with I think the card that is lesser of impact. That's not to say it's not going to be a good card, but they did reveal a card which we'll put up on the screen here, which we'll see it. We'll look at it here, but Jace. Jace is an orange card, so I'm pretty sure that most people now are like, it's kind of confirmed. Blue orange Jace will
Yep.
be the blue orange
Yep.
legend.
So he'll be the promising future Aurora deck that everyone is devastated on.
Yep. So if you are an Aurora goblin, get ready to play Jace, because that's going to be your option. But this orange Jace for 4 and an orange power has a pretty interesting effect. When I become ready, choose one to give me this turn. Either Assault 2, Deflect 2, or Ganking. The Deflect 2 is very... I don't hate it, but that one feels like it's kind of the weirdest.
I think it's very good against Diana or Ezreal, things that like try to like get rid of your units during a showdown.
True, like Star-Crossed or
Yeah.
things. And you can play this with, is it Pit Rookie, or what's the other one that readies a unit?
What's it called
There's like a 3 mana,
Yeah.
a 3 energy unit
We'll put it
that
on
readies a
screen right
unit.
here.
Well, yeah. There's a 3 energy unit that readies something when it enters.
First mate. There you go.
First mate, there it is, yeah. So I think that would be obviously what you would want to pair this champion
There's
unit
also
with.
a very niche card that no one uses that you can pair with this card. You can spend a buff to ready a unit.
Oh,
It's a 2 energy cards that readies a unit, but you can pay the cost of a buff instead of it, and you can give it deflect. And I'm pretty sure it's action speed, maybe even reaction speed.
okay.
So you can maybe give it deflect at the beginning of the showdown and be like, look, I'm gonna punch first and afterwards. Go kill it.
Yeah, and then I'm going to give it Deflect 3.
Yeah.
Star-Crossed me and get rid of 4 of your runes. Do it. So, I don't know. What do you think about this card?
I think it's on paper it looks pretty whack because you want to ready it on your opponent's turn. But I think it's very good on offense
Yeah.
because just playing a turn 2 and then readying the unit, giving it assault 2, fighting over on 7 might on turn 2. It does cost you power, but that seems very strong. And if you don't need the might, just give it deflect. And if
Yeah.
it's already on battlefield, maybe give it ganking.
What's interesting to me about this card is it says give 1 to me this turn. It does not say that you haven't already chosen.
Yeah, you can give him deflect 99.
Right. There have been other cards that have these multiple effects, and you usually, I think thus far they've often been written with one that hasn't been chosen this turn. The other ones that have similar style wording.
Well, Wei has this type of style.
I guess Wei does, yeah. But Wei is like, it's based on what you discard.
That's
It's not
true.
just like a choose.
Which one is the one you're referring to now? Because
I
don't
cannot remember off the top of my head.
So
but
yeah, we'll put it on screen.
yeah, well, we'll see if we put it on. I have to remember it. But yeah, but I do like the fact that if you theoretically say you ready it for the turn, which if you wait a turn, when it readies, you just automatically get one of these at the awaken phase.
Yeah, and I think that's already pretty good on the base stand. And
Right.
evaluating a card from like its lowest ceiling, or it's not ceiling, lowest floor,
Yes.
is a very good way to evaluate cards, in my opinion.
And so, you play this, you get the ready on the next turn. If you were to play something like this with a Star Spring and say you ready it, you move it in, give it Assault 2, you conquer, you play a first mate to the Star Spring,
Yeah.
you move it back to base and ready it, you can give it whatever you want a second
You don't
time. So
even
maybe
have
you
to
give it
have a
Assault
Star
2
S-
twice.
You don't even have to have the Star Spring. You can just give it ganking if needed.
You could, but I'm saying if you want to give it Assault 4,
Sure.
you could go crazy.
It's true.
But yeah,
But
like
you can again go for it 7 Maya.
you could. That's a 7 might ganking is usually enough to get you there.
especially on
seems pretty
turn
good.
2.
Yeah.
Or turn 3 in that case, usually.
So if you're playing blue orange Jace, is this your champion unit of choice?
I think Blue Jays is right now pretty bad.
Yeah, you need to be playing a gear deck.
Yeah, it needs to be 7 or lower to play for free. And in Blue Orange right now, you want to play Aurora or you want to play, I don't know, something else. Trinity Force maybe, but
Weird question.
yes.
Blue Jace, is it worded that the cost of the gear has to be 7 or that it's reduced by 7?
If it was reduced by 7, it would be really good. It's not reduced by 7.
Because like I was wondering if there was a way, maybe it doesn't exist right now, but if there's a card that could reduce Dazzling Aurora from 9 to 7,
Oh, that
and
would
then
work.
if Jace recognizes it as a 7,
That would work.
so
There's no way to do that right now.
does it have a power limitation on that Jace? No.
No. So what it says is you can play a gear from your hand this turn for free if it costs 7 or less. So I
So
don't think it's possible to.
we just
play
need
Aurora for free.
Eager Apprentice twice for gear.
Yeah, I think printed cards are not being reduced in your hands. No, in Magic it doesn't work that way. I don't think it works.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that
That,
in
that was
other
my
cards.
question. Is like, there's no way that it could be worded such that it
No.
would make it a.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a magical Christmas land that we can live in.
No, I think they must have thought of that one. That's why they made the Dazzling Aurora a 9.
Yeah, I think Jace could have been up to 8.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is your champion unit if you're planning on playing that blue orange, assuming we don't get another Jace champion as part of the reveal.
We will get a blue Jace.
Oh, are they going to do a blue and an orange in the same
If you
set?
get a champion unit, you'll pretty much every set consistently has gotten 2 champions units.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Because imagine it's not gonna happen. Imagine if blue Jace rotates out.
True. Then you would only have the one option.
Yeah,
And that would feel bad.
That usually doesn't happen.
No.
Champion units or legends should always have 2. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, then we might get another, and then we'll see. But right now, I don't know. The blue would have to be quite good for me to pick it over this, because I think this gives you the same level of early game aggression that.
I think you really need to look what the Legend of Jace does before you.
Yeah, I mean,
that.
sure, fair. We don't.
I
know
think
what
that's very
Jace does.
impactful.
The other spoiled card, which is the one that I think more people are maybe freaking out about, is the best way to describe it.
I think the card is good and garbage at the same time, but I'll go over that.
So we have Mel, newly awakened? Yeah, for 4 and a blue power. It has a little bit of text. When you play me, draw 1. So already it replaces itself, which is quite nice. And then it has the new keyword, empower.
Yes. And we have an understanding what the keyword does, but it's not confirmed.
Yeah. So empower looks to be a thing where you basically are granting a card, a unit, I think, or sometimes a legend, but you're granting something that is either in the champion or legend zone or in the battlefield with like a pseudo permanent buff.
Yes, so basically it's a state a permanent or card can be in, and once it has that state or it will have an extra effect.
Yeah.
I think that's the basic understanding.
Yeah.
For
So, and this one has empower 3, and then if you've empowered it, so basically you're paying 7 energy in a blue to play it and empower it.
Yeah.
Once it's empowered, your spells and abilities can't be countered.
Looks loop. It's coming for
Yeah.
you.
I mean, the most obvious thing is like you stick this in a loop deck because it's blue. So importantly, it's in all the Echo loop decks now, in that color. And that's one of the biggest problems that these decks have is that,
Defy.
everyone, you post any video about one of the loop decks and everyone out there is so happy to post the word defy. And I'm like, well, yeah, yeah, sure. Like, we're not playing solitaire entirely, but this basically, if somebody ever says defy to me again in a Lux loop deck, I just go, Mel.
She is 7 energy over 2 turns.
Yeah.
And you will be able to kill her. So I think she's good for this reason.
Yeah.
But she does cycle herself. I think the threat of being able to make things encounterable is better than using the threat.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. We talk about like...
Oh, she has one more
Oh, yeah.
thing right there.
Yeah.
If a spell or ability would give a unit minus might, it will give an additional -1.
Which is good.
That's good.
I think that as like a pure...
Simplify -2? Oh, I'm in.
Yeah. If you think about this card from like a fair gameplay perspective, that's probably the part that is most exciting to you. Is it's like, oh, it makes it much easier to, stupefy for minus might, or the RE champion unit that's giving additional minus might that will apply the buff as well.
I think my implication initially was like in a Victor deck where you just play this in base, draw cards, and then if you empower her, you can Wages of Pain their units without it getting into fights or something like that.
Yeah.
It makes combat very, what's it called?
Favored.
Not predictable.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
play your Wages of Pain, you know it's going to do 3 damage because they can't counter it.
Yeah.
And your Stupefies will do -2. So it makes your combat buff very predictable for your side. So you know what you can expect. Sure, they can discipline, but they can't defy.
Yeah, they can gust,
They can
right?
gust.
But like if they gust, cool, same result, the unit's gone.
Yeah.
Like frankly. But in terms of loop stuff here, saying things can't be countered and everything,
I think she's she might be a trap. I think she might be a sideboard only thing.
Yeah.
But she does cycle herself. So you could play 1 off in the main, play 2 more in the sides.
Yeah.
I think she can be a very dangerous card. I think she just costs too much. I think if you are investing this much into a card, they will just charm it. They will
Yeah.
just charm it.
Yeah, because
So
you almost always have to play this ahead of time.
Yes. So what you want to do is one turn before your combo turn, you'll play Mel, you'll empower her, and be like, charm her, and they will.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a problem because you're gonna have like 19 charms in your hands. Because what are you gonna do? What are you gonna charm?
In Lux Loop, yeah, you just
Maybe
chilling.
their looks. That's it.
The nice thing about that though is it will it's a benefit to you if it survives into your turn, but if it doesn't, say they do play a kill spell or a charm or something, it's still a resource out of their hand that they're not using on your other combo pieces theoretically.
Yes, but what combo piece are they gonna charm?
Well, I mean, look, if you say you throw down an Echo early, say you've got ahead of time, you've got a Mel out and an Echo out, you do leave them with a pretty interesting
That's true.
circumstance, which is
That's why I'm saying I think a one-off is good in the main and
Yeah.
maybe through in the sideboard, depending on how good she actually is.
yeah.
Because I think the best part about her is just putting her down, drawing a card, and being like, charm her.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that it is fairly costed. The 4 plus the 3 to empower feels like the design team was like, we want this effect to be in the game because this is also very common in Magic.
This is what Blue needed.
Yeah.
Finally,
yeah,
this
it's
is
great.
what Blue needed. Like, as a Control Victor player, I just can't stand Defy.
Well, because you usually, a lot of the blue spells that you don't want to be defied, the more fair ones, are things like Wages of Pain or technically you can't defy Singularity, but you could
Not so
Wind
fast.
Wall or Not So Fast, right?
I've been not so fast as my
Right.
Singularity. I've lost those games.
It feels terrible when things like
or
that
Abandon
happen.
even,
Yeah.
frankly.
But actually, your spells and abilities can't be countered. Does Abandon actually counter the spell?
I'd have to look.
Or does it just put it back in your hand? Because technically, cards like Snap or other things don't actually counter spells.
It's returning a spell to hand, but I think it is countering a spell, and if it's countered that way, return to the hand. I think that's
that
the
might be how
wording.
it's worded, yeah. Because cards like there's a white Magic card that's like Reprieve.
Yeah,
That
there's
it's like, it doesn't actually counter.
the difference between reprieve and remand.
Yeah. But point being, I think they probably simplified that. But yeah, this is interesting. Also, about the empowered mechanic, it seems like there's a legend that has it as well.
Yes. So it's red and green Akali.
Yep.
I don't know if this is an official spoiler, but I will talk about it.
There was an oversized card that got delivered
That's
somewhere.
true. It was 3 energy and power to empower her, and she has action speed, recall a unit, and if she's empowered, ready that unit. On base, that card seems bonkers.
Yeah.
Even without empower, just being like, I could flash at any time for 1 unit.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
And it's a flash that is uncounterable.
Yes. Right
Yeah.
now it isn't counterable.
Right. There's nothing currently in the format. And also because it's on your legend, I doubt there'll be any way for them to interact with your legend being empowered.
Yeah, they can. There are cards that exhaust ready units, already legends right now.
Are there?
They are. You can
Ooh.
ready or exhausted legend. They're not being played because they're terrible. Or at least I think they're terrible because they're not being played.
Yeah.
But they are in the game. But if there's a spell that can counter ability, it will be in a different game.
Yeah. Or especially the ones that counter abilities are ones that counter abilities on your units, not your opponents. So but the other thing about Empower that I think is interesting, the way I think it'll probably work, I think Empower will be applied to a unit or whatever gets empowered. But the Empower will go away if that unit were to be bounced, if that unit were to die, or if that unit were to be something like Portal Rescued.
Yeah. I think if it becomes a new entity, it's no longer
Yeah.
empowered. And that's how we understand it as of now. And I think that will be correct. But-
So I could see also if they print something like Empowered, imagine like a card that bounces a unit and puts it back in base, and you can do it to any unit on the battlefield.
Crazy.
But that would be a way also to unempower your opponent's unit.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, the better way is usually, I guess, to kill them. But if they gave something like that a reaction speed window and made it properly costed,
Mhm.
that could be
I
interesting.
think what would be interesting if there's cards that say, empower units. Like a very...
Oh,
Yeah. So imagine you have a 1 cost that empowers for 10 or something.
like a spell. Yeah.
And then you have a spell that just empowers a unit. I don't think they're going to design things like this, but it's interesting design space.
It could be a gear.
Could be a gear.
Yeah, there could be a gear that says empower a unit, and then maybe there's another equipment maybe one day that says like if the unit it's equipped to is empowered blank.
Yeah.
Like it is an interesting thing, like basically a thing to keep track of, and that you can, mess around with mechanically. So
I think it's very interesting. We'll have more spoilers hopefully next episode.
yeah. So what we're gonna do for this one is wanted to get this one out. Spoilers are gonna, I say spoilers, but really it's just reveals.
Yeah, true.
Official reveals will be coming from a variety of different creators over the next 2 weeks, from July 6th through July 17th.
I think so, yeah.
So I think the next time we're going to record an episode will probably be halfway through that cycle.
Yeah.
So keep your ears out. I think right now the pod will be every 2 weeks-ish. Maybe we'll do a back-to-back episode like for the reveal and then the full set.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, we're going to do bi-weekly. So definitely subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on your favorite podcasting platforms. If you want to hear us, if you have any suggestions or if you have any questions for us too, feel free to leave comments on Spotify or Apple or YouTube. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to see or hear. And
yeah, we can maybe even respond on it on the podcast at the end. Or
yeah. We're happy to do questions and answers for this too. If you have also any questions you're a judge as well.
Oh, I'm level 1 judge, and I judged for Magic a long time, and I am in the process of getting level 2 judge.
So
in Riftbound.
We might have to have like a judge corner at some point where you talk about how interactions do and don't work.
Yes.
So any questions you have on that, feel free to leave them in comments or reach out to us. And we'll think about incorporating that. Very open.
That's true. And even I make mistakes, as you've seen in the videos. So
I
take everything with a grain of
as
salt.
you've
I will
seen-
verify. I'll double verify myself first.
Yeah, as you've seen, Echo can't be copies of Echo, token copies cannot be death knelled. Okay.
Yeah, because the part of it is the cost is recycling it.
Yeah.
You can't recycle something that's gone.
No, not yet. Not yet. Just wait till they accidentally make another incorrectly worded mechanic.
Yeah.
And then we will have our death knell tokens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. And we will catch you in the next episode of Pass Forward. No, Pass Focus. Pass Focus. Jesus.
I think we should end with and now we will pass focus.
Ah, yes. And now we pass focus.